Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me begin by just thanking all of you for your service to our country. I'd like to begin just a quick question for Dr. Calvelli. In a statement for the record, as Principal Deputy Director for the National Reconnaissance Office, you were quite clear on the value satellites bring to our nation's national security. You said, and I'm paraphrasing, that satellites you helped launch supply enhanced intelligence capabilities for warfighters and improved decision-making advantage for our policymakers. With that in mind, what would be the impact if we were to decide that we would not identify space in the future as a warfighting domain, recognizing very clearly that we have adversaries that may very well have differing points of view? And are you aware of anything that would substantiate the suggestion that they have already moved in the direction of utilizing space as a warfighting domain?
So thank you, Senator. It's an outstanding question. I believe we need to treat space as a domain that we need to integrate in with other domains, whether that be sea, air, or ground. I think space gives us a strategic advantage as a nation, both economically as well as militarily. And I believe that as we go forward in the Pentagon with programs like JADC2, space needs to be fully integrated into that to take full advantage of the capabilities that space can provide to the warfighter. Is the term warfighting domain or just space domain? I honestly don't know. And if confirmed something, I would take a look at what the differences of that really means. What I think is really important, though, is that we are able to count on our space assets being there, whether that be peace, crisis, or conflict. The economy depends on space. The nation depends on space. The military depends on space. So I think we need to make sure that our architecture is resilient. I think we need to make sure that we maintain a technological advantage over our near-peer adversaries, particularly China and Russia. And I think we need to add new capabilities to our architecture to stay ahead of any threats.
Most certainly, it would appear that we should be in a position to defend our space assets. Fair statement?
Absolutely. I agree with that.
And really the question here is would the attack against our space assets, would they begin with the delivery a missile or something from the ground, or would it be something that would already have been stockpiled in space by our adversaries? Is that a possibility? I
think that's a possibility, but I will tell you that I would imagine anything that's the first volley in terms of a space war would end up being a cyber.
Thank you.
It's a lot less attribution than a missile being launched from somebody's country.
I most certainly have the opinion that we should not limit our ability to defend our assets in space, and I think we should be prepared for the possibility, this very strong possibility, that our adversaries may very well not have any problems with deciding that space could very well be a location where they could conduct military activities.
Right.
Would you have any problem with that statement?
No, sir, I do not.
Thank you. Let me go back for just a second, and I have to say that I have most certainly appreciated the opportunity to visit with several of you in my office. Dr. Chowdhury, I think we've talked quite a bit about AI, and I think in our discussions you made it very clear that you understand that this committee would never look upon the investigation or the use of AI, and the oversight of our men and women in uniform would never be considered to be an acceptable thing. Is that a fair statement, sir?
Senator, that is absolutely correct. And you have my commitment that we will protect the civil liberties and the constitutional rights of all of our military members, if confirmed.
Thank you. Let me go on to this. There's an item that I think is very important. In fact, there's been some more public discussions lately about PFAS and PFAB. And at Ellsworth Air Force Base, we've had for a number of years, because we have aircraft there, we also practice our firemen and women fight actually taking out the fires, stopping the fires from expanding and so forth. But when they test it, they have been using the PFASs, which is, and I'm going to probably mess this up, but it's perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl as chemicals that are in these firefighting liquids. There's been some discussion about the fact that some of those same chemicals may very well have been used in the creation of equipment for firefighters for years. But in this particular case, we've been concerned about the possibilities of that being in the groundwater in multiple locations around the United States. Would I have your commitment that as we continue to investigate and take care of the claims that come from water supplies and systems that have this in them, that you would work to make sure that those individuals that have their water supplies impacted by this, that they be appropriately treated, and that we do everything we can to clean up the water supplies that have been tainted? And furthermore, that we make sure that those individuals that might have been impacted in terms of their health, that we recognize it and we get to the bottom of it and do everything we can to make sure that they get the services needed to correct any health problems that they may have due to the release of this by the Air Force and other branches with regard to what they thought was simply a matter of practicing to put out fires?
Thank you, Senator. The challenge with the PFAS has been very, very close to an issue that I've been watching in the public domain, especially at our military bases. Our men and women in uniform deserve to have an environment to execute the mission that is free of contaminants, and that goes for surrounding communities of these installations. You have my commitment that I will give this my fullest attention, and I will work with the committee on understanding the current impacts, potential future impacts, and actions going forward to address them. So to answer your question, Senator, if confirmed, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your patience.
Thank you, Senator Brown. Senator Cotton, please.
Thank you all for your appearance here today. Congratulations on your nominations.